Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful week so far. It's the start of a new adventure. Not really, it's just continuing, but I have finished the journal I was working in. And if you've missed it, I will put the link to the video there. I did a complete tour, I guess, of the watercolor journal I was working in. And I have not bound my next one just because I think I'm going to go with a disc bound journal so that I can remove the pages, work on them, and then put them back in. But I have to buy a punch for this, and I also have to buy the discs, so I'm going to go see at my local scrapbooking store if they have any. But for the it doesn't change anything right now because I'm still going to be working on single pages at a time, and I will be taping them to a board because it's just easier for me to maneuver, and I can just like flip them around. I think it's easier for me as well in the sense that I don't have a book to deal with. I don't have, the bulkiness of that middle where all the pages meet. It's fine if you're in the middle of the book, but if you're like towards the beginning or the end, it's a bit tricky. So I think I prefer to work on single sheets at a time. And I want to say a huge thank you for the response and the sweet comments that you guys have sent me in response to my watercolor journal tour. You guys are amazing. You're encouraging, so motivating, and I will keep going. As long as you guys are willing to watch my videos every morning of the week, I will do so. I also have been granted permission from one of the people that I follow on Instagram. This is Mona. She's one of your fellow subscribers. She also has a beautiful Instagram. That's her nickname right there. And look at this photo. So she allowed me to use her photos as reference material, which I'm very happy about because she's got, well, not only is she an artist, but she also has beautiful nature photos. Here you can see, look at all these beautiful gorgeousness. So I will be using one of these, I think it was this photo that I will be using as inspiration. I'm not going to probably do something super realistic, but I like the grouping of these flowers. I like the colors as well, so that's what I'm going to be using. And I'm not going to draw. I'm just going to go straight at it with watercolors. I'm going to take a screenshot of this photo because I want the ability to enlarge it. Save to photo. I'm going to go to my photos. And boom, there it is. Alright, so now I can enlarge it to see more details. What I'm going to be using today is my mop brush by Raphael. It's a size 0. I love this brush. I haven't used it in a while, and so I thought I would give her some love this morning. It's a her. It's a she. Alright, so let's start with a very light, I'm going to go with quinacridone coral. I'm going to add quite a bit of water, and I haven't wet my paper. So I'm going to zoom in on one single flower like this. Alright, I'm going to put that here so that you can see it. And I'm going to start. It's going to be very light. I love how there's different tones, different values of that color. And I'm going to grab a darker or more pigmented. And then I'm just going to drop that in. Now I'm not looking to, like I said, exactly replicate. I just want to have the idea because I seem to be doing always the same kind of flowers, and so I figured if I use reference material, then it'll give me some more ideas. Oops, this one I went kind of like crazy, but to drop a little bit of that color here at the tip. My windows are open. It is such a gorgeous, gorgeous day here in Montreal. It is fresh, you know, like a cool spring day, and the trees are budding. Most of them are already budding, I should say, and the skies are so blue. I use paper towels a lot when I do this type of work, especially when I use this brush. This brush holds so much liquid in it that you kind of have to blot it. It's good if you're doing work that you want to kind of like flood. If you're going for the loose style of painting, this is perfect. Now I'm going to go back in with like a thirsty brush, just like pick up a little bit of color from this one. All right. Now I want to add another one up here. So I'm going to zoom in on another flower. So let's see, maybe it'll be up here. So I'm going to do this one kind of like going behind. And I'm not following, you know, like there's a lot of highlights on these photos, but I'm not really paying attention to that. I guess what I'm trying to say is, from this photo, what I want to get out of it is more like, you know, the general shape, the placement of the petals. Let me do the other one right away. I'm going to do it paler. The way they meet in the middle. And I've not reloaded my brush because I want to vary the intensity of the colors. And this one has 5 petals. I'm not sure the other one had 5 petals, but I only saw 4, and that's okay. I'll leave it like that. This one I'm going to do a little bit rounder. Alright. Dropping in a little bit of color. I'm using the very tip of my brush when I drop in the color. Look how pretty this is. Thank you so much, Mona, for letting me use this gorgeous photo. There's all kinds of other ones in the background, but I think I'm going to do this one here towards the bottom here. This one is looking like straight at us. It's fully open. It's so beautiful. And I'm going to grab a little bit, just drop it right at the tip of it. See how the colors run into each other? Oh, I love it. It's so exciting when you get your mojo back. Okay, this one I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna go over the tape just so that it's anchored. It's anchored to the frame. All right, now this one, I'm gonna start right here. Oops, I need water here. And again, as you see, I'm not working hard on replicating exactly what I see on the photo. It's more of like an overall sense of the flowers. I went a little crazy here, but I think this petal should be longer. There we go. All right. So I've got my 3 flowers. Oh, they're looking so cool. I'm gonna have a lot of blooming effect just because the paper is starting to warp. My flowers are loaded with liquid. So, and I don't want to have like an even layer of color. This is truly the look that I'm going for. So I'm not going to temper with, you know, picking up the excess liquid. I do, however, want to add a petal to this guy, and I think I'm going to do the petal as if it's like twisted around. So kind of like flat a little bit. All right. Yes, loving this. Okay, and I'm going to pick up on the shape of those leaves that I see. I'm probably going to switch brush, but I'll see. So let's examine the leaves. They seem to be like very tiny, and it's got some kind of a jagged edge. There are not that many leaves. I like the buds though, like the darker buds, and I didn't do that. I do need to add centers, and that I'm going to do later. Let's see here. Oh, look at that. I kind of like the idea of that branch sticking out with a little bud and some leaves. So I think I'm going to do that. Yeah. All right. So the branch. Now the branch, I think for the branch, I got paint on my face. For the branch, yeah, it's going to be like a dark, I'll probably go with a warm sepia. Sepia? I never know how to pronounce this. Okay, so, and let's see. I'm going to have that bud coming off of it. And if I have brown walking into the flower, I don't care. I really, really don't. I think this is just going to add to the charm. So I'm going to have the branch kind of like coming across that corner here. And then one is going to come here. And this will be the end of it. And then I'm going to have that one here, which is going to come down, and then it'll split. Actually, no, I'm going to do one that goes into that flower to support this one. I love the fact that the brown is mingling in there. Call me crazy, but I really like this effect. Okay, and then I'm going to do a bud. Well, let's see. Oh, so nice. Okay, so I'm going to pick up quite a lot of pigment. as much water as I did for the actual flowers. Now the bud is kind of like round. I'm doing this in reverse, so kind of like that, and then I'll add the leaves. You know what, I'm going to use the same brush. For the leaves, I'm going to use, I think I'm going to go with sap green. Or a version of sap green, because I have a lot of green on my palette here. So it might end up being a different sap green. I'm going to mix all those greens together, so forgive me. I'm going to list sap green in the description of the video as part of the supplies, but it might be a different sap green. Okay, so I know that there are some kind of leaves kind of like cupping that flower, and I know that my red is not dry. That's okay. That's okay. I think the effect is going to be lovely. There we go. Oh, how cute is that? And I seem to be doing everything in reverse, so it's kind of confusing a little bit, but I'm just going to add a couple of leaves here and there. I want, let's see, where do I want one? I want one here. I'm not going to do the jagged edges because I don't really want a lot of detail. But I will add some leaves here and there. Oops. Okay, this one is bigger than I wanted. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. Let's see here. Maybe one here. Maybe I'll drop in a little bit of... Hold on, I'm totally disorganized this morning. Oops. My daughter came to pick up my car. She borrowed it for the day. And, you know, Mama worries, although she is a good driver, but, you know. If you have daughters or if you have kids that borrow your car, you know what I'm talking about. But she is responsible, and she's borrowing this for work/school. She is the president of the vernissage for the end of the year projects, and she's got a lot on her plate. Plus she started working for her real big girl job. And she's got a lot of responsibilities, but I'm very proud of her. So she's graduating this year after having taken quite a few breaks. And that's okay. She did it at her own, you know, in her own style, at her pace. She's a true champ. Both my kids are true champs. Maybe one peeking out from here, because it seems that it would be fitting. Then maybe one kind of like going in this direction. And again, I'm just using the tip of my brush. I'm not squishing it down. There's no squishing involved in that step. I like that color better. Oops. See, my flowers are still super wet, but that's okay. I feel like there ought to be one here. This is completely dry. I love how good watercolor paper goes totally flat if you let it air dry. I mean, this is Canson XL. It's not considered top of the line, but if you tape your edges and you don't flood it, it will go back flat. Now, I noticed upon examination of the photo that each of these flowers have these little leaves like underneath the petals, much like where is that? You can see them here more closely. They're kind of like cupping the bud, and so when the flowers open, there's actually a cute little kind of like another flower forming underneath, and I did not do that. So what I'm going to do is add a bit of green. I'm going to tape that green. This time around I have my number 1 Hua Hong thin brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit of these tiny little leaves in between. At this point in time, they're going to look more like little peekaboo leaves because I did not leave a lot of space. All right, and I was thinking about how I could do the little things in the middle of the stamens, and it dawned on me that I have gouache. So that's one way of doing a lighter color on top of watercolor. Now here I'm just going to add a little bit, but I'm not going to do that here because that petal kind of goes over this one here. I thought they were sakura, like cherry blossom trees, but they might be something else. I have to ask Mona what they are. I'm sure she'll tell me. Mona, I know you watch my videos all the time, so can you let me know what this kind of tree is? I'd love to know. I'm gonna have something in between here and then like so. Cool. All right, so now of course I need to dry this first, but while this is drying I can add a little bit of color to the background. So I'm going to pick up maybe some ultramarine blue, ultramarine deep, and I will water it down considerably. So it's just like a little tint, really. You can see that. And of course, you know, it's not going to be, I don't want to make this even, just to suit just to go with the flowers. Like I don't want to have like a super even application. Some of the color will pool in some areas, and that's fine. And we might not notice the background right away because I have tape. But once I remove the tape, even the lightest color shows. When you do a border like this, it will show. Trust me. I'm still using the mop brush because it comes to a very sharp point, so I'm able to go in between the flowers. And I'll probably use a marker to add some definition. I don't want to add like colors. I don't want to add, I don't want to do any shading with watercolor. I just want to keep it super loose, and the addition of a little bit of detailing with the marker is going to be as well super loose. A little too dark. And I'm going to have some colors fall on the flowers. I don't mind. It's a very relaxing thing, I find, when you use a reference photo, because you don't have to guess. Because I don't use reference photos a lot, I find it so relaxing when I do, and of course I should do more of that. I was blessed with, it's funny, I actually obtained permission from 2 photographers that are essentially doing architectural photography, I want to say. There's a lot of building photos on their feeds, and I've gotten permission to use their photos as reference. So I'm quite excited about that. So you can probably expect more cityscapes soon, and maybe even abstract. All right, I like how it granulates here. I wasn't expecting that. This color is by Shinhan, which I've not seen granulation from that brand. I don't have many colors by Shinhan, maybe like 3 or 4. But this is granulating, and much to my surprise, and it's fun. I'm happy. As I'm examining the flower, I see that the little stamens, the little bubbles, for lack of a better term, at the end of the stamens are kind of like, it's a mix between yellow and green. I guess there's some kind of, like, probably the underside is green and the top is yellow. I'm just gonna do yellow just to simplify everything. And I guess the number of little bubbles I put is up to me. I see Some of them have more than others. So I have yellow gouache in my dish. It's been curing for quite a few weeks, but the wonderful thing about professional gouache or poster paint, like professional poster paint, this is Shinhan, is that you can always reconstitute it with water. And to get that pale yellow, I mixed, I think it's primary yellow and white. So I don't clean up that dish, I keep it on my desk. And when I need it, I just grab from there. So I'm just gonna get it creamier. A little drop of water there. And I'll bring you in closer for this. Whoops, too close. So this one's facing me, so I'm just gonna do a few dots like this without the little stems. You see, from a different view, you've got those stems, so depending on how the flower is on the tree. I have, the way I see this, I have this one which is facing me, and then maybe this one is kind of more like turned this way. This one's facing me as well, so I'm just gonna do one that has the stems, and then the rest will just be little dots. So this one, I'm going to do a couple of, like a little swoopy swoop swoop. I have a lot of water in my brush. I'm going to pick up directly from here. Just because I have no patience. Alright, like so. And then this one I'm going to do like the other. I'm going to add a couple that are facing. I'm going to grab a marker. I have, I'm all thumbs, the Pigma Micron 01 tip. I'm not quite sure how to handle this one. I kind of like it that way, but I think some of the flowers need a little bit of separation. For instance, this petal against that one, I would probably do, let's see here, let's do a bit of an outline here. Just to help it out. I don't want to map out exactly the whole shape of it. I've got some gouache here that's not dry. So we have to be careful. I'm not sure if I'm doing this correctly, but let's say that I am. Essentially what I'm trying to do is just separate the petals. Maybe add a little line here in the middle of each of those leaves. just to enhance. I think it's working. Yeah, it's working. I don't want to add too much. Oops, not sure why I did that, but it's there. I guess when I do this kind of detailing, I find that I'm most successful, or I get the look that I want the most when I'm quicker, when I don't think too much. And this is, I mean, for me, this is the most enjoyable when, you know, I don't think about being too precise. I kind of like that. Just little accents here and there, actually. On the picture, I have noticed that the middle of each of these petals are lighter, but as you can see, I'm not really paying attention to that aspect for, you know, for that painting in particular. I've decided that my painting benefits more from having darker lines in the middle. It just suits the style that I've actually done. I'm hoping that, oh, I didn't want to do that point, but that's okay. I'm hoping that the explanations that I give you along the way helps. If I'm not clear on things, please let me know. Don't be afraid to ask questions about my process. I know some people are shy, but don't be. I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't know how I've painted that. Maybe there's a hidden leaf behind this one. Let's go with that explanation. And let's not add too much. Let's not question every single part. All right. Add a little dot here at the end of each of these lines because I think it's cute. That is the style. When you do these little things that take it out of the more realistic aspect of an object, It's called stylizing your painting. So that little dot that I'm adding here, that is considered stylizing. I don't even know if it's a word, but it becomes a stylized painting. So I've decided now to add it to, at the end or inside of each of these petals. So there you go. I'm really liking this. I think it's fun. I'm gonna add some weight. Okay, I'm gonna add some weight to the beginning of each of these leaves where the leaf meets the branch, and that helps bring them a little bit more, it just helps defining it. Here, this one is messed up. And I'm messing it up even more. So that's a no-no. I'll add a little bit of weight here and there within the flower. I don't want to do too much though. I'm always afraid to go too far. Do you know what I mean? And I usually end up doing that. So that's something I need to work on. But you know, sometimes once you get going, it is so difficult to stop, because I'm the type of person that truly enjoys the process. So how do you stop yourself from enjoyment? You know? So I find it's a very difficult thing to do. Okay, I think I'm done. Now let's step back. Oh, that's pretty. I've enjoyed this so much. All right. I'm gonna remove the tape. I'm not heating this one up. I've had great success with this blue tape. I actually found it at my local hardware store. It's just blue painter's tape. That's all it is. It's low tack. Oh, I like it. It's what I consider pretty, like gentle pretty, you know? If you see fuzz here, it's from the board, not the paper. Oh, I grabbed the corner. Oops. Oh well. I love it. Thank you so much, Mona, for the inspiration, for allowing me also to use your photo as reference. This is how I usually use reference material. My aim is never to duplicate or replicate exactly what I see on the photo. It's essentially to get me started, unless I'm doing someone's portrait and it has to have some sort of resemblance. I usually use reference material as a starting point, as a guide. This was what I consider a study of this kind of flower, whatever it is. Please, Mona, let me know in the comments below. But it helps because you don't have to think too much, and I should be doing more of that. I don't use reference material often enough, and I will from now on. So that is it for this video. Remember to stay loose. Oh, that's catchy, right? Stay loose, have fun. If you want to follow along, if you want to create something similar in a similar style, I invite you to tag me if you post on your social media so I can go and take a look at your artwork. It always pleases me to see what you create. I'm at Création CC on both Facebook and Instagram. Thanks so much for watching. I will list the colors and the stuff that I used in the description of this video. As usual, a big thank you to my awesome patrons for being supporters of my art over at Patreon. I love you all, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow.